Hi there, Dash here. I've got a great dancing game for you at pbskids.org. Let's dance along.
Come on, it's time to dance. Get on your feet and dance. Dance party, dance, dance party. Dance party, dance, just dance party.
Are you ready? Dance along and see if you can figure out the pattern. Kangaroo goes jump, jump. Kangaroo goes jump, jump. Jump, jump, jump. Frog ribbits and we wiggle. Frog ribbits and we wiggle. Ribbit, wiggle, wiggle. Kangaroo goes jump, jump. Kangaroo goes jump, jump. Jump, jump, jump. When a frog ribbits, what do? We wiggle, wiggle, and ribbit too. You can keep on dancing with your favorite PBS Kids friends on the computer at pbskids.org. Thanks for dancing. Gotta dash.
Dash, just dance party.
Hi, it's me, Hooper. Can you guess where I am today?
Where is he going? What will he do? Where in the world is Hooper?
My first clue is I'm visiting a place where people come to see animals, but it's not the zoo. And here's another hint. There are lots and lots of fish in this place, but you can't catch them. Oops. Now here's the final clue from the dinosaur train.
There they are. Whoa!
Great clue! You can look at the fish through glass. Now let's go over those clues. I'm visiting a place where people come to see animals. Lots of them are fish. And you can look at them through glass. So, did you guess where I am? That's right! I'm at the aquarium! Hey, fishy, fishy, fishy!
We want to know what's at the center of the earth. Probably cheese.
Not only can Martha speak, she really digs adventure.
No digging in the yard. How else can we find out?
Martha Speaks, weekdays on PBS Kids or watch anytime you want at pbskids.org.
Miguel Santos doesn't always agree with his sister Maya.
That's a great idea.
No. But she's willing to change his mind.
Oh, please, Miguelito. Oops. You get used to her. Eventually.
Watch Maya and Miguel every day on PBS Kids Go.
Wow, that's a pretty good idea.
The dynamic duo, every evening at 6 and 8:30.
Thomas and Friends, making tracks to great destinations.
Dear Christopher, here is your friend Thomas the Tank Engine. He wanted to come out of his station yard and see the world. These stories tell you how he did it. I hope you will like them because you helped me to make them. Your loving Daddy.
Whenever an engine needs maintenance or cleaning, there's a special board that must be placed on the lamp iron which reads, "Not to be moved." As the name suggests, when this is in place, the engine is forbidden from moving from its current spot until it is removed by the same person who put it there. Recently, a new cleaner had started at the sheds. He was young and eager to make a good impression. He was thrilled then, when one day he was tasked with cleaning Gordon. He placed the board on his lamp iron and started scrubbing and polishing until Gordon looked cleaner than he had in years. Gordon was most impressed. "This certainly puts your paint to shame," he called out to James. James just ignored him and set off for work. Later, a group of workmen were heading into the nearby town for breakfast and invited the cleaner to join them. He quickly packed his tools away, and they all set off for the cafe. It was soon time for Gordon to leave. His crew climbed on board. The driver blew the whistle and was about to open the regulator when the fireman cried out, "No, wait! The board's still on!" Gordon looked to his left, and sure enough, there was the board still on his lamp iron. The crew looked all around, but they couldn't spot the cleaner anywhere. "Go and find him quickly," cried the driver. "He's the only one allowed to take it off." The fireman wasted no time, but had little luck. He searched all around the yard, in every office and in every tool shed. He was about to give up when he saw the cleaner returning with the workmen. He ran over and marched him straight towards Gordon. He was most apologetic and quickly took the board off. But by then, Gordon was already running late. He screeched into the station and banged into his train. Hurry up, he bellowed to the passengers. The guard's whistle blew, and Gordon started so quickly, his wheels could barely grip the rails. His bad luck worsened as he tried to make up for lost time. Every signal seemed to be against him, and had to wait for other trains to clear his line. But finally, he arrived at the other railway, an hour late. Gordon's boiler pressure had never been higher. "Incompetence!" he bellowed at the sheds that night. "How on earth did he find a job here? Oh, they'll hire just any dim-witted." "Oh, be quiet," cut in Henry. "It's his first week here. It's not like you've never made a mistake." "Mistake? Mistake? Henry, this was pure idiocy. He shouldn't have been anywhere near a railway. Never mind near engines." The other engines all stayed silent. They knew it was better to just let Gordon get it out of his system and let him rant himself to sleep. But by morning, he was still fuming. "Try to be on time today," chortled James. Gordon's face went bright red with rage. "Oh, that's a nice color. That really does put my paint to shame." And he ran off laughing before Gordon could reply. Soon, the cleaner walked over to Gordon and placed the board on his lamp iron. I wanted to apologize again for yesterday. The foreman's asked me to." His voice trailed off as he saw Gordon glaring back at him. He wasn't sure, but he swore he could see fire in Gordon's eyes. I'll leave you to it." And he walked away as quickly as he could. Gordon was soon due to leave, but the board was still in place, and the cleaner was nowhere to be found. "He's done it again," cried the driver. "Go try the cafe quickly." "There's no time for that," snapped Gordon. "I refuse to be late a second time. Now just take this thing off and we can leave." The crew looked at each other and gave in. The fireman took the board away, and Gordon charged towards the station. When he arrived, he backed down onto his train with a loud clang. "Get in, come on," he shouted at the passengers. The driver, however, looked back. He thought he could hear a quiet wailing sound coming from underneath the tender. He and the fireman climbed down and peered underneath. To their horror, they found the cleaner, holding onto Gordon's tender frames for dear life. "Get him out!" cried the fireman. They quickly pulled him out, and by a miracle, he hadn't been hurt. "How on earth did you get there?" asked the driver. But the cleaner was too shaken to talk. So the station master escorted him into his office and phoned for an ambulance. Gordon, meanwhile, was completely pale and didn't speak a word for the rest of the day until... "Gordon!" boomed a familiar voice. Gordon's boiler went cold as walking towards him was Sir Topham Hatt. Hello, sir. Lovely evening. Spare me the pleasantries, for I have none for you. Gordon gulped, and the Fat Controller took a deep breath, trying to compose himself. What happened today? Well, sir, that cleaner, yes, the cleaner, forgot to tell us what he was doing, and did he place a not-to-be-moved board on your lamp iron? Yes, sir. And was he the one that removed it? No, but I've heard enough. The cleaner told me he was tending to your tender brakes when you set off. He's extremely lucky to not have been hurt. Gordon looked down at his buffers. Tell me, why do you think he's the one who has to remove the board? So things like this don't happen? Stammered Gordon. Precisely! He turned away from him, trying to calm himself, and then looked back. I can no longer trust you to work on the main line. I take safety matters very seriously. You will stay in the shed until you can say the same. He walked over to Gordon and placed something on his lamp iron. Perhaps this might help you learn. Gordon looked up, and there sat a board that read, "Not to be moved."
Emily is ready to leave the station. She is tingling with excitement. What's Emily pulling today? Emily is chuffing out of the station pulling buckets and spades. Emily chuffs out of the station pulling buckets and spades and a big beach ball. Now Emily chuffs out of the station pulling buckets and spades, a beach ball, and a stripy sun umbrella. Can you remember what Emily is pulling today? Emily chuffs out of the station pulling buckets and spades, a big beach ball, and a stripy sun umbrella. Can you guess where Emily is going? Emily is puffing to the seaside. Have fun, Emily!
to share. Take on coal and water to see you through the day, and you'll get used to doing everything up.
Percy was spending the night at the shed at the big station. He was due to take trucks back to Thomas's branch line the next morning, and the bigger engines were glad to see him. "Well, well, little Percy," said Gordon grandly. "It's nice to have you with us for a change. I trust you, Thomas, and Toby are running that branch line of yours efficiently." "I think so, Gordon," Percy replied, though he wasn't quite sure what efficiently meant. "That's right," rumbled the big engine. "No late trains or angry passengers. An efficient railway is a great responsibility, as I, of course, know only too well. What the Fat Controller would do without me to keep things running smoothly, I can't imagine. Henry and James do their best, but someone has to keep a responsible eye on things. It must be splendid to race along with a train of heavy coaches," sighed Percy enviously. "When you were ill that time, it took Thomas, Duck and me to move them, and then the three of us couldn't go very fast." "Never mind," said Gordon. "You kept things running. That's what matters. It's a knack, I suppose. My big wheels help, but there's more to it than that, of course." Next morning, Gordon had steam up before Percy. Percy needed water, but because he hadn't enough steam to move, Gordon offered to push him to the water cooler. "Thank you, Gordon," said Percy gratefully. "That would be very kind." "Not at all," Gordon said proudly. "It all helps with the smooth running of the railway. Responsibilities, my dear Percy. Responsibilities." Percy had a long drink. Soon, his steam pressure had risen nicely, and he was ready to go and find his trucks. Gordon, meanwhile, hadn't returned to the shed. He dozed in the sun until it was his turn to take water. Percy moved away. Gordon tried to follow him, but he found he couldn't. "Come on, Gordon," said his driver. "We haven't got all day. Your train is due out in an hour." "I can't move," Gordon groaned furiously. "I've got cramp. I can't move my pistons." Percy's driver came to see what was the matter. "Jammed valves, I reckon," groaned Gordon's driver. The fireman went to find an inspector, and Percy buffered up gently to Gordon's front. Puffing hard, he managed to push Gordon back into the shed, and then went quietly to fetch his trucks. He didn't say anything. Somehow it didn't seem tactful. Later, when Percy met Thomas at the junction, he told him what had happened. "Poor old Gordon," chuckled Thomas. "But that's what it is to have responsibilities." And the two engines puffed off to run the branch line as efficiently as they knew how.
Today, the suspension bridge on the island of Sodor is closed. Thomas has to take a new route to the children's school. Percy tells Thomas the way. First, Percy tells Thomas, you go over Gordon's Hill. Then, steam through Kelsthorpe Station. And then, along by the old windmill, until you arrive at the school. Thomas is ready to set off for the school. Can you remember where he goes first? First, Thomas goes over Gordon's Hill. Then, through Kelsthorpe Station. Now where does he go? Along by the old windmill. Until Thomas arrives at the children's school. Did you remember all those places? Thomas did. Well done, Thomas. Gordon, James, and Thomas are all at the repair yard. Each engine has a different problem. Can you guess what will make them feel better? There's some coal, some water, and some oil. Gordon is making a funny noise. His wheels are squeaking. Do you think some coal will make him feel better? No. Coal won't stop Gordon's wheels squeaking. It will make them dirty. What about water? Will that stop Gordon's wheels squeaking? No. Water won't stop Gordon's wheels squeaking. It will make them rusty. What about some oil? Yes. Oil has made Gordon's wheels stop squeaking. He feels much better. Now look at James. His face is as red as his body. James is very hot. Do you think some coal might make him feel better? No. Coal won't make James feel better. It will make him feel even hotter. What about some water? Yes, water has stopped James overheating. He feels much better. Now look at Thomas. Thomas is puffing very slowly. His boiler isn't hot enough to make steam. Do you think some coal will help Thomas feel better? Yes, coal has heated up Thomas's boiler. Now he can make steam. He feels much better. Now, Gordon, James, and Thomas are all feeling much better. Well done, everyone.
James was cross. The Fat Controller had sent him to collect Welsh coal for Henry. He grumbled as the trucks bounced about behind him.
This is not fair. I have to cover Henry's trains when he's sick. And now I'm his errand boy? Ridiculous.
When the Welsh coal arrived, Henry was delighted. He'd never felt so well in his life. The Fat Controller had signs placed near the coal bunker, which read, "Special Welsh coal, for Henry only." The other engines understood and respected this, all except James.
Look at him swanking about,
James complained to Edward.
I fetched it for him. And I don't even get a thank you.
I'm sure it's appreciated, Edward smiled. I must admit that coal has done wonders for Henry. Imagine what it might do for us. Edward meant this in jest, but James smirked. I wonder. Get that idea out of your smoke box, frowned Edward. You know full well not to take that coal. Poor Henry has suffered enough. He doesn't need you pilfering the one thing that's making him better. James said nothing more, but he began scheming. Over the next few days, James pestered his crew about the coal. But no matter how he asked, the answer was always no. But James was persistent and wouldn't relent. He's insufferable, grumbled the driver. Perhaps we should just give him some. You know we can't, sighed the fireman. Then an idea struck him. Unless... The fireman smirked and whispered his idea to the driver. The next morning, James' crew came early to the sheds. He was surprised to see them. "You know, old boy," whispered the driver, "you're right. You do deserve some of Henry's coal. Let's hurry to the bunker, but keep quiet. We'll be loaded up and away before anyone notices." James was giddy, but did his best to contain his excitement. James backed down to the coal bunkers. He couldn't see what his fireman was doing, but didn't give it a second thought as he sizzled happily. I'll show them, he thought cheekily. What James didn't know was that his fireman was shoveling regular coal into his tender. James had forgotten that the regular coal bunker was right next to Henry's. Soon the fireman was finished. "Right, James," he said. "Off we go." James puffed away as quickly and quietly as he could. He arrived at the big station, full of pride. He had plenty of steam. It was so early that his train wasn't ready. "Never mind," he scoffed. "I'm so strong. I'll have this sorted in no time." James set to work, smoothly shunting the trucks in line. The trucks were surprised, but didn't want to jeopardize the newfound respect they were receiving. Soon, all was ready, and the guard blew his whistle. Here we go, James chortled. The trucks couldn't have held back if they wanted to. James took off like a rocket. James sped down the line. Hillsides and houses were a blur, and children pointed in amazement as he passed. "Perhaps this wasn't such a good plan," remarked the fireman. The driver, trying to keep his balance, said nothing. James was early at every station, made no fuss about shunting, and seemed to leave as quickly as he came. Every passenger was quite surprised. By the end of the afternoon, James arrived back at the big station. He was sizzling in a siding, feeling very pleased with himself. "Could it be better?" he smirked. "Why waste that special coal on an engine like Henry, when I make much better use of it?" "I beg your pardon?" James gulped. Walking towards him was the fat controller. "I had come to congratulate you on your fine work today," he rumbled. "But it appears we have another matter to address." "As far as I'm aware," continued the fat controller, "only Henry is permitted to use that coal. Now tell me, is your name Henry?" "No, sir." "Then why did you take that coal?" At that moment, James's crew appeared. "Pardon me, sir," said the fireman, "but you've got it all wrong." By the time he had explained the trick, James was aghast. So all day I've been using regular coal?" The driver, fireman, and even the fat controller burst out laughing. James's face became as red as his paint. "Well, James," said the fat controller, "I must apologize for my previous assumption. You indeed did a splendid job today. I'll have you know hard work does not go unappreciated on my railway." He paused, and James grinned in anticipation. "As such," he continued, "you will continue with goods work for the remainder of the week." James was speechless. "Now that we know what you're really capable of, it should prove no challenge for you. Besides," finished the fat controller, I'm sure it would dissuade you from any further schemes on taking Henry's coal. Won't it, James? James did stay on goods work, and he hated it. But he wasn't about to disappoint the Fat Controller. He worked hard all week, and was thankful when it was over. He was going back to the sheds when he saw Henry and Percy at the coal bunker.
You know, Henry, giggled Percy, this coal makes me feel stronger than ever.
Sounds to me like you've taken James's special coal, laughed Henry. James said nothing. He just sulked in the shed.
PBS Kids.
Want to hear some dynamite dino news?
We want to hear it!
Dinosaur Train is on weekdays.
Really? You kidding? Yeah!
Catch Dinosaur Train weekdays on PBS Kids or watch anytime you want at pbskids.org.